Hello everyone and welcome to the first episode on the Rotaries and Jet Skis channel. To give a little information about this, since this is the first episode, I'm Davis and I will be primarily working on Rotaries and jet skis. The primary car of this channel will be an old 85 RX-7 that I use as my daily driver, and pretty much everything I ever need a car for, I use it for. Now I do have another rotary vehicle, which will be shown in a later video. And when it comes to the jet skis, I have a 1987 Kawasaki JS550 that has a 650 from like a later jet ski swapped into it. Now that thing is very broken, and as soon as I can really get some time to work on it, I'm going to work on it. But primarily, this channel is going to be more on the rotary side and focused on my RX-7. Later on this video, I will give you a rundown of what is already done to my RX-7 and kind of what the start of the projects will be on that car. So a little backstory on me. I'm Davis, and I have been doing car stuff all my life. Primarily stuff with rotaries. My dad started racing an RX-7 when I was really little, so I grew up primarily working on early carbureted 12As. Then when it was time for me to start driving, well, of course I wanted a rotary vehicle. And eventually I got my RX-7. Now I had another rotary vehicle before that, and I still have it, and that'll be the other car. But I'll wait for a later video to tell you about that one. But I got the RX-7 and, fixed it up to be able to drive it, and I've been driving it ever since. Really, I put about 50,000 miles on the car in the past 4 years. Now this show will really kind of be all over the place. I am a student and I do work, so I'm pretty busy, and I'll basically be filming when I can. I'm going to try really hard to, every time I work, pull out the camera and film. I'm already going to say, quality's going to be bad. I'm filming on an iPhone, so the video quality will be bad. If I start to get more followers, I'll get a better camera. The editing is going to be terrible. I have never edited before, and I'm just kind of learning, and I didn't actually buy any editing software. I'm just using, what's on the computer. So, yeah. But I think that's enough preface. Next video, I'll probably just have a regular intro made up for it. And let's go ahead and get you introduced to the primary car of the channel. Hello everyone. Let me introduce you to the car that will be primary focus of this channel. Greg, my 1985 RX-7 GS. So as you can see, it's pretty ratty, but I use it. I daily drive this car. It is my primary source of transportation. And even though it looks ratty, it's actually got some pretty good stuff done to it. It's got the Racing Beat springs on it. It has a Racing Beat street port exhaust. An old one though. It ain't a modern one. It's got some genuine BBS wheels on the car. And has an LSD swapped into the back. But best of all, last year I swapped in a 4-port 13B into this car, and this thing has been a fantastic motor. When I actually got the motor, it came with the car. I thought it was dead. It had 120 psi compression all the way around in the rear rotor, 120.00 in the front. So naturally, at first, I thought it threw an apex seal. But, so I threw a 12A in the car, drove it for 3 years, and then the oil pressure started to drop on that 12A, and I was like, well, I need another motor. So I came back to this 13B, and I thought, well, hey, this thing was just a junkyard 13B, probably been sitting for 20 years. What if it was sitting with the apex seal pushed in, and it just wasn't popping back out? So I came back, stuck my finger in the exhaust port, and lo and behold, that apex seal was shoved into the rotor, and I was able to put some ATF in the motor, work the apex seal, and it popped back out and had 120 psi compression all the way around. Has good oil pressure and stays nice and cool. I got a Champion radiator in here and a T3 strut tower bar, which is meant for a 12A, so I had to actually space it out, and it still hits that hose. A little over a year ago, probably 2 years ago, I rebuilt the transmission for the car. That was fun. And then on the inside, it's pretty much stock. I still have the factory radio that I was able to put an FM transmitter down under the center console to be able to play my own music. Pretty much all the interiors here. I do have the column trim, but I always hit it with my knees and knock it off, so I leave it off. I have put a CB radio, and some of y'all might have just noticed in the other video of the under the hood. I have a PA under there, and it can be pretty fun to have that. And you know, you have the great look of the antenna on the back. So, you may have noticed by the name of this channel that it is Rotaries and Jet Skis. Well, this car is my tow vehicle for my jet skis. That's right. I have a trailer hitch on here, and I will trailer stand-up jet ski behind this car. The first time I did it didn't work out so well, but since then I have redone the suspension, and I doubt I'll wreck a set of tires in one drive. So, now, with this 13B, the only carburetor I was able to get to work on this that I had was this Hitachi 4-barrel, which, if you are a big, RX-7 guy, or I guess more rotary guy, because it never came on RX-7s, you would know that that's not a very common carburetor. For a reason. They're not that great, but it was the factory carburetor that would have been with this motor. And I have struggled with this carburetor for a while. So the first kind of major series of this video will be building a new Hitachi to go onto this car. I was actually at the Rotary Rally a few days ago, and somebody was kind enough to give me a Hitachi that they had laying around so I can mess with it and leave this carburetor on the car and still have a working car, because this is my daily driver. I kind of need it still on the road. And this carburetor has a jet that's broken off inside, so I can't change the jets in it. So that's kind of a not fun situation there. But I have another carburetor that I will be building to work properly with vacuum secondaries, and hopefully be able to make a little bit more power, be a lot smoother. This carburetor currently has a problem where if I turn hard to the right, it'll cut out, so all the fuel is sloshing to one side within the bowl. Try different heights of the floats and everything, doesn't really need change much. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try and make some basically baffles to go inside the float bowls. Never done it before, don't know if it'll work, but I'm gonna give it a try because why not? But that is about it with this car. Now I do have another car that will be a bit of focus on this channel, and I'll make another video for that. But the other car is a 2004 RX-8, which is hiding just up there, but that car will have its own series later on. So now I guess let's go ahead and go get to work on this carburetor. Okay, we're here with the carburetor now, everybody. This is a totally bone stock Hitachi 4-barrel. It came off of a 413B. Guy I got it from, he got a whole bunch of motors, and one of them was totally complete with the carburetor, intake manifold, everything still on it, and he didn't want this, and I met him at the Rotary rally, and he was very kind to give it to me. So, now, when I'm done with the carburetor, it's not going to look like this anymore. I'm going to clean it up, get rid of a lot of this stuff, get rid of that. That's something for an AC idle bump, I believe. I'm going to take that off. That's for choke. This, though, I am going to keep because this is what controls the vacuum secondaries. And currently on my other carburetor, it's just wired mechanical secondaries. I'm not a big fan of that. I like to just be able to mat it whenever I want and not have to think, oh, is the RPM too low? Am I going to bog the car? I want the vacuum to deal with that. Maybe try and delete some of the extra linkages down here. Gonna leave this. And all around, for the first part of this video, I'm probably just going to strip it down and then show you what it looks like inside. Then in later videos, I'll go through the actual cleaning and refurbishing of the carb. And then later on from that, we'll go testing different jet sizes, tuning the accelerator pump, and I'll show you what the different AFRs mean. And for people who don't know, AFR, air-fuel ratio, basically how much fuel there is compared to the gas. Reading from inside the exhaust so you can see if you're running the car lean or rich. And you do that to tune your carburetor. You can tune it by ear and all that, but really it's kind of dangerous to do that with a rotary because if you run it lean, you're going to pop it. And I really don't want to pop this motor. So, this is what I'll be working on. And as y'all can probably tell already, I am in an apartment. I don't have a garage or anything. My workshop for this is a closet. So I will be doing all this work from the parking lot in the closet. Occasionally on this channel I will be doing it in a different parking lot because I'm actually here in this area for my internship, but I go to Auburn. And I still go to Auburn regularly, and after this semester I'll be back in Auburn for a year. And I do lots more car stuff there, and I'll continue to film. And occasionally when I am back at home, I will film there where I can film some stuff on some of my family's cars, as well as the stuff we do for racing. Now, I will talk more about the racing on a later video because we have two very, very cool cars, and one of them extremely unique that I'm sure y'all would love to learn about. But I'll save that for later. So now I'm going to get to stripping this carburetor. Okay, I have stripped a bunch of the emission stuff off the carburetor now. I'm going to go through off camera and just strip it down all the way so you can see inside. This time lapse is going to get really long. So I'll just go ahead, strip it down, and then I will show y'all what it looks like inside. Oh, I got the top of the carb off, and it is a little dirty in there, but I'll show you that in a minute. So here's a quick tip. If you're going to have a carburetor apart for a while, you want to keep track of the screws that hold the top hat on. Just take yourself a piece of cardboard, draw out the top of the carb hat, stick the screws through the cardboard. That way, because you see they're different lengths, you know which one goes back in where. Just label it, and you can store it and they'll stay together. Now, when I took it apart, I was luckily able to get the gasket off in one piece. Can't believe it because it is quite dry. But when I was looking at rebuild kits, I wasn't sure if this was actually still in there, so I really wanted to get it off in one piece, and I lucked out. So, here is the carb hat. I haven't even taken the floats off yet, but just looking at the bottom, it's not too bad. The floats at least move. I can't tell yet if the needles are really moving or not. These little springy boys, they're not seized. Now, when we come over to the actual body of the carb, you can see it's a little varnishy in there. Just dirty all down the barrels. Same over here, and then we get to this. This is the accelerator pump. This is a plunger that's supposed to go in and out. And it's supposed to come out, but it's not coming. So I think I'm going to soak that in some WD-40, try and get it out, as well as I will soak these jets in WD-40 before I try and get them out as well. So I will clean this up off camera, and then in the next video I will show y'all the carb all clean up. So that'll do it for the first video here on rotaries and jet skis. So I hope y'all enjoyed it, and I look forward to making more videos.